Here's Rineman in the Morning, on demand from 102.1 and 105.3, The Shark. It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
The number one film at the box office this weekend was the Super Mario Brothers movie, which made $205 million, or almost enough to hire an actual plumber. Due to eggs being so expensive this Easter, some people painted potatoes, which explains why Mr. Potato Head looks like he joined Twisted Sister. Happy birthday to Sadie Rineman, who turned 6 years old. And anyone who did not buy her a present is a great big banana butt.
And that's your news on the nines. Now on Rineman in the Morning, it's What's Up on the Shark app with Megan, the Shark's own app and website guru.
Megan, what's going on?
Ben Affleck was mistaken for Matt Damon in a Dunkin' commercial, and the reason why I find that funny is because it reminded me of myself.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, were you the one in the commercial?
Yeah, no, it was me. No, my response would have been, who are you again?
You know, yeah, it probably would have been.
We're setting the bar low.
Which one of the
already.
Wahlbergs are you, Ben? Are you Ben Wahlberg? No, I'm Ben. Forget about it.
We're setting the bar low already, and I'm going to do a deep dive even further down, baby.
You think he just introduces himself as, hi, I'm J-Lo's husband nowadays?
See, I would react more to that than I would if he introduced himself by his actual name. I'd be like, oh, you're in the movies, right?
Putting you on the spot right now. Is that going to work out this time around? Ben and J-Lo?
See, I'm inclined to say yes because I'm a believer. I'm a believer in love, but at the same time, if we're going off of the track record of the people involved, I would say no.
Yeah, when you're already having an argument on television at the Grammys? Yeah, not a good sign.
I think I heard about that. What exactly happened?
They were caught arguing, like they did an audience pan, and they wanted to have a shot of Ben and J-Lo, and they're having like a real couples argument, like they're going at it, bickering.
Jeez.
And she actually like tugged on his pants, like behave, and looked at the camera, and it reminded me of like a wedding video.
Celebrities are just like us, folks.
Like when your aunt and your cousins, hey, behave. Oh, look at this camera.
Shut up.
What is going on at award shows, though? It's just people can't get along. There's something different at every single one of them.
There's something in the air.
Yeah. Anyway, funny commercial, a genuinely funny commercial. Very funny commercial. Dunkin's doing some good stuff. They're doing some funny ads, and Affleck's being really funny. Check it out over on the Shark app.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
Boston Bruins, most wins in league history. Cam Neely's proudest moment since he was Seabass in Dumb and Dumber.
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the Morning.
Megan, what else is up?
So I have a feel-good story for you to start off this Monday morning.
Oh,
would
fantastic.
Would you like a feel-good story, John?
I love a feel-good story. Randy Price was just here last week. He was telling me we all need some feel-good stories. What's happening?
Exactly. So there is a mother who has several children, and she went to McDonald's because she was just kind of frazzled and just needed to get the kids dinner, and they weren't cooperating. Mm-hmm. And she was trying to place her order, and the kids were crying, the whole 9 yards. And she realizes right at the drive-thru that she left her credit card at her house, which, like... I feel like we've all been there at some point, but when you have three kids in the car, it's not a good time. The kid at the drive-thru, he whipped out his credit card and he covered the tab for them.
The McDonald's drive-thru worker?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so great. What state was this again? New Hampshire?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that sweet? Full details and the full story can be found on our Shark app, but it really is. If you're in the mood for a feel-good story, there's too much negativity in the world, and we need people like this McDonald's worker.
Well, not to be a cynic, but...
Wait, you're a cynic? I had no idea.
Just throwing this out there.
Wow.
Have we ever seen the Hamburglar wearing like a wig and a dress, possibly, in a disguise? Because what I'm trying to say is, are we sure this was just a mom and not the old Hamburglar pulling a fast one?
Maybe you're the Hamburglar.
That's all you got for me?
That's all I got. That's all I got. It's Monday. I can exude some joy,
Megan,
but I still have to finish my coffee.
Megan, I got to tell you, that McDonald's joke really made me grimace.
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
There will be an Easter celebration at the White House today. They'll give out the prize to the child who finds the most eggs, as well as anyone who can locate Vice President Harris. Melania Trump tweeted out a Happy Easter message along with a pink rose, while Donald was photographed with a Daisy and a Debbie and a Barbie and a Delilah. Scientists will blast a rocket at Jupiter's moons to see if they contain life. Or as they'll say right after, well, that was a mistake. Everyone in the basement until they leave.
And that's your news on the 9s. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
We have reached that point where I wrote something for the Shark app and Megan has questions.
This is by far the most insane thing you've ever written. So,
oh no, I just recapped it and told the story because there's so many layers to it that I wanted to make sure people appreciated all the humorous elements of this true story.
All the layers. So I want you guys to use your imaginations for a second. Imagine you've had a long day of work. Mm-hmm. You're in a hotel. You're passed out on the bed. You're relaxed.
Why are you in a hotel again?
Because your job put you in that hotel.
Oh, that's right. You're someone who's responsible and you have to travel a lot.
And you're taking a fat nap when suddenly the feds burst into your room, drag you out of bed into the shower to wake you up, handcuff you, and interrogate you for an hour.
Should not be laughing, but man. No.
Long story short.
This happened in Massachusetts. This within our listening range, so
So the gist of it is, this was a planned raid that was meant to be practice.
Yeah,
they were supposed to go.
Well, let's not give away too much of the story.
They were supposed to go into the room of an actor who was prepared.
Yes,
they got the wrong room.
Boy, did they ever! And they didn't just get anyone's wrong room. You have to read the story on the Shark app. Because then you go, oh my God, did you really? Did you go into his room and handcuff and yell at? What is going on?
There's so many. There's so much.
There's so much in the story. We just gave like half of it, but it is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I told Megan, I went ahead and registered it with the Writers Guild. I'm really going to write something up with this. And just because I just need to know, we're never going to find out exactly what happened. You know, it's going to get washed away. But like, just to imagine every side of this story that's on the Shark app, it's unbelievable. It's one of the funniest things I've ever read. Mm-hmm. And you got to go check it out.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
Tiger Woods withdraws from the Masters. Not the first time he's pulled out.
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the Morning.
Megan, what else is happening?
So one of our coworkers is like understandably big into concerts. She goes to a lot of them. With that, she has a lot of knowledge that she has chosen to share with us. And one of those is obviously making sure that ticket sites are legitimate before buying tickets.
Yeah, and let me tell you something. Even if the tickets are legitimate, some of these venues, is this true? They're not taking third-party tickets, right? They're like saying, no, you got to buy them through us or through,
I can neither confirm nor deny, but I'd believe it.
Wow.
I'd believe it. But yeah, so she provided us some tips to make sure that you're not going to show up to Gillette or TD or Bank of New Hampshire and then be horrifically let down.
Yeah. Yeah, let me tell you something. Like, if you have tickets to Foxborough Stadium to see the Beatles, you probably got scammed.
Wait, they're not real?
It's time for your news on the 9s with News Guy.
President Biden is set to visit Ireland. So for once, he won't be the only one stumbling down some stairs. Scientists have created computer-generated AI newscasters. Unfortunately, the ones on Good Morning America were just caught having an affair. The weather is supposed to get up to 80 degrees this week. Fellas, help me out. Is it bad form to sleep in your underpants on a first date? In a bed at Bernie and Phil's?
And that's your news on the 9s. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
Look who's here early. It's Megan. What's going on?
Of course. Well, I realized I didn't ask you this yesterday, but how was your Easter?
It was decent. It was good. How was your Easter?
My Easter was good. I went to see family in Massachusetts, and we had an Easter bunny as well. One of my family members has like a full-size bunny mascot suit, and he was in the suit. And the creepy thing was, even once he got out of the suit, it was sitting on the couch, and it looked eerily like there was still someone in it.
So he's an Easter bunny impersonator, and he just left the costume sitting around after?
Oh, yeah, hands down.
That scares away the Easter bunny. If the Easter bunny comes to the house and sees that sitting there, these people are making fun of me. I don't want to go here. That's no good.
Well, I appreciate this family member of mine so much, because I had when you realize, like, I fit into this family, like, I understand where I get certain personality quirks from.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
This guy looked at me straight face, and he said, yeah, I don't mind my job because I know somewhere out there in the multiverse there's a version of me that is Batman. I am Batman.
What?
Another version of me out there is
He just said that out of nowhere?
No, we were talking about like sci-fi
What's
movies.
his job?
I don't even know what his job is. I only see him at holidays. And he's like, somewhere out there there's a version of me that's Spider-Man as well.
Wait, how much Easter eggnog had this guy had? Like a whole bunch?
No.
Nothing?
Little to nothing. That's
Wow.
just my family for you.
Celtics don't know who they're playing yet. We're still waiting to see who wins the play-in game. I think it's Miami and Atlanta, but that's not the big story. Jaylen Brown, he's injured. He hurt his hand. I guess he was doing some gardening or something, or watering a plant. So he cuts his hand up. I don't know exactly how this happened. Here, let's find out more.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
Why is Jaylen Brown picking up broken glass? Guess his Roomba was out for load management.
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the Morning.
Megan, what's going on?
So a hungry bear stole a box of snacks from a New Hampshire home, and this happened last year, but I wanted to reshare the video because it's so unbelievably funny. You just see this bear waltz up to a person's front porch, and there's a box of like food that they had delivered to their house, and he just takes the box and walks away with it.
Why are we resharing this? Are they still on the lookout for this bear?
It's funny. It's funny, and it's funny content.
I thought it was like a Whitey Bulger deal, where you were like, it's been a while. This is kind of a cold case as far as bears go.
Well,
but we'd like to ask the public for their
The part
help.
2 to the story is that the goods were found
Oh.
strewn about in the woods. And it turns out that this is what surprised me. The bear was very particular about what he chose to eat. He ate some things and left other things, and I was very disappointed by the things he didn't choose.
You're telling me this bear went into this family's house and was very particular about what to eat and what not to eat?
He's a picky thief.
I'll tell you what he is. He's a reverse Goldilocks.
That's true.
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
What if we made a new Second Amendment where everyone gets to carry one of those koosh ball launchers? Or a super soaker. Everyone gets a free super soaker just in time for summer. How about a Nerf blaster? That's a lot of dads getting hit in the crotch. You could win America's Funniest Home Videos.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
Megan's back again.
I
You're just
never
hanging
leave.
out today. Do you have any work to do? What are you just doing? Just hanging out?
Shh, I'm procrastinating.
Okay.
No one needs to know.
Well, you did have a follow-up, though, to something we talked about last week.
I did.
Correct?
I went to Dave's Hot Chicken
Okay.
in
yeah.
Portsmouth.
Yeah.
I did. I messaged you.
Yes, I saw that. Yes, I know. And the chicken was...
I really liked it. I
Okay.
really liked it. I'll definitely be back. The only thing about it that surprised me was I ordered like a medium level spice, and it really wasn't spicy at all.
Oh.
So maybe my only suggestion would be whatever level you think your spice tolerance is, go a level above.
Are you? No, you're just pranking me right now.
I'm being dead serious.
No,
I don't
you're
have
not.
I'm not very like.
No, I'm gonna go there and be like, yeah, give me the spicy one, and then you and Ashton Kutcher are gonna jump out from behind a plant with a camera and go, there he is, throwing up.
Well, you know what?
What?
The other thing about them that I like, I don't know if this was just something they were doing for opening day or what, but they were giving things out to people patiently waiting for their food. And long story short, my What's Up on the Shark app segment has a new mascot.
Oh my god! Hold that up again.
It's a little rubber chicken.
We're at this point. We're not even a year into this program, Rineman in the Morning, and we've already resorted to rubber chickens.
Yeah, they were
get laughs.
They were handing out free
Unbelievable.
rubber chickens to people. What do you think of Dave's Hot Chicken? All in all, good experience. Would recommend. I got a slider and fries, and I'm going to be back.
Megan's got props now. Come back later for her bicycle bell.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
Whatever happened to jumping jacks?
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the Morning.
Megan, what else is going on?
Portsmouth's restaurants are all insanely old, as we all know.
What?
But
That's not true at all. What do you mean?
Most of them are.
Dave's Hot Chicken, the one that
Not-
just opened?
not Dave's
Insanely
Hot
old?
Chicken,
Well,
but-
why'd you say all then?
You cut me off before I can even tell you, John.
Because I won't put, I'm a fact checker. I won't put up with things that aren't true on my program.
Well, let me finish a sentence, and I'll clarify what I mean. So Portsmouth has a lot of new restaurants, but they also have a lot of old restaurants.
That's not the sentence you said. You just said,
well, you know
all
what?
the restaurants in Portsmouth are old.
Allow me to correct myself then. The majority are. I had a thought of, I'm a big fan of history, as I've said 1,000,001 times. And so I was like, hey, what are some of the oldest restaurants in Portsmouth that either they've been open the longest or they're in a building that's been around forever? And so I found some of the oldest restaurants in town. And I compiled them all in a list and I ordered them from most recent to the oldest.
Oh my gosh. Can you give me a hint?
Well, I can tell you that the oldest restaurant, it's an Italian restaurant. Cue Billy Joel's scenes from an Italian restaurant.
Right. It's Rineman in the morning. I asked you for the strangest thing you've ever found while doing spring cleaning. Corey from Lebanon.
I moved to a new house, and I keep finding a barbed wire fence.
Really?
Yeah, in the ground, I find barbed wire fence.
Barbed wire fence?
Yeah.
You don't have like an air raid siren there or anything. I just want to make sure you didn't move into like a prison or something. Rebecca from Hampton.
A very old puzzle box with some old stained glass weird figurines in it.
Ugh, that's creepy.
Yeah, very creepy.
You got to call the Ghostbusters for that one, man.
That's right.
Sean from Hampton, you found something strange cleaning out your yard. Is that right?
I have a boat that's a flower bed in the front of our house, and we found a batch of baby bunnies in the boat.
Oh, that's tremendous! That's a strange Easter hunt. You go out there looking for the eggs, instead you find the bunny.
Now on Rineman in the morning, it's What's Up on the Shark app with Megan, the Shark's own app and website guru.
Megan, we've reached that point where I wrote something for the Shark app, and you have questions.
So you wrote about a sea serpent in Massachusetts.
What town, Megan?
Is it Gloucester?
Yes, but what did you say first?
That was what I said, Gloucester.
No, that's not. You said Gloucester.
No?
You did.
No,
yeah.
I didn't. I promise.
You sounded just like groundskeeper Willie on The Simpsons.
Gloucester. I would never say Gloucester.
You said Gloucester.
Oh, I'm sorry. Would you prefer Gloucester? Is that better?
There was allegedly a sea serpent in Gloucester, and I just found out about it. And did you know it's on the Shark app? It's the highest reported sea monster of all time, of like the most sightings, to the point where you have to read the story, but like there's just people will not believe that there's not a sea serpent in the ocean off Gloucester, or at least there wasn't at some point.
I'm processing. I'm processing.
Are your feelings hurt over Gloucester?
My
Megan?
feelings aren't hurt. I'm just trying to think of a funny sea monster related joke. Trying to think of if anyone I know could possibly be the sea monster.
Wait, you mean like someone's in a Yeah, that's a good point.
We all have a sea monster in our lives.
I was going to say, you already have a relative.
Easter just happened.
That dresses up as a weird bunny for no reason. After Easter, do you think that same relative is wearing a sea monster suit in the water?
Actually, it would not be entirely out of character for him. I really don't think it would. This is a man who is telling me he's seen every Godzilla movie ever made, so I would not be shocked.
Did we just solve it? I think we just did.
The sea monster is my relative. I would not be shocked. I would not be.
All right. Well, mystery solved. We figured it out, but go relive the one-time mystery of the sea serpent of Gloucester on the Shark app.
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
Thank you for listening. I will read these jokes quickly before they are leaked by the Pentagon. Researchers say they have uncovered a hidden chapter in the Bible. At the end, Judas wakes up next to Bob Newhart. A 78-year-old woman was charged with a bank robbery. She led police on a chase that reached 25 miles per hour.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Rineman in the morning.
Megan, what's going on?
Were you ever a Boy Scout in your younger days?
I was, and I was not particularly good at it, but I learned some things. Were you a Girl Scout?
I wasn't. I remember I wanted to be, but I don't think there was a troop near where I lived.
I remember seeing a comedian once, and he was on Johnny Carson, and he said he's in the Boy Scout Reserves. I thought that was pretty funny. That's kind of what I was. But what's going on with the Girl Scouts?
So there is an 8-year-old Girl Scout who absolutely crushed the main record for Girl Scout cookies sold. And we're talking in the thousands of boxes of cookies in I think the span of a month.
Wow. In Maine?
Yeah.
Wow.
That takes dedication, both for her and also her parents.
Yeah.
Because someone has to, keep an eye on her as she's going door to door.
Well, that's the thing, is you wonder, well, I guess I have to go read about how she did it in the Shark app. Because that's a lot of doors to hit up. I wonder if that's a situation where the parents put like the sign-up sheets at work. And we're like, can't you just spare a few
An
dollars
8-year-old's
to
dreams
buy...
are going to be crushed if you don't buy Girl Scout cookies.
Can't you just please buy 15 boxes of Thin Mints?
Question though,
yes.
do you like Girl Scout cookies? Like, I know some people go out of their way to buy them. They've never been my thing.
I'm not gonna. Well, everyone likes Thin Mints. If you put them in the freezer or the refrigerator. What's the other one that has like the? It's like the creamy chocolate caramel kind of.
I don't even know. I think I've had a Thin Mint maybe twice in my whole life.
For real?
Yeah, they've never really been on my radar.
They're good with ice cream, so I'll give them that.
I do like ice cream.
Malamars. That's the other one that I remember liking. So yeah, there's a couple, but I don't know. I mean, like, hey, you know what? I better watch what I say because I just envisioned my 6-year-old in my head and said, I love Girl Scout cookies. Of course. Can't wait to buy them and bring them here to the office in a couple years. And everyone's going to buy 15 boxes, right?
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
Hockey hat trick, scoring 3 goals. My hat trick, spinning the propeller.
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the Morning.
Megan, what else is going on?
So I didn't know this, and I'm a little bit surprised, but apparently the most dangerous state in the country to work in is in New England.
Really?
I will say...
The most dangerous state in the country?
I will say, it's not New Hampshire, but it's one of our neighbors.
Oh, well...
we got a few of those.
Yes, we have
I got to keep the suspense
neighbors.
alive. I'm not going to outright say it.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, it's not New Hampshire, but it's one of the 5 other states in New England. Well, I guess Rhode Island would not be on there, so I just solved that mystery. Really? The most dangerous state to work?
Yeah.
Can you give me a couple of reasons
I'm surprised
why?
New Hampshire's not a dangerous state to work just because you live in it.
Me?
Well, you cause a lot of chaos in the workplace. Like the other day, for example, you left, to be nice, some Lindt chocolates on my desk because we had chatted about it. And our coworker
you said,
Sean,
and I quote, hey, if someone gives me some Lindt chocolates, they're okay in my book, or something like that.
Yeah, that's true. And I stand by that. So I'm appreciative. But it caused chaos in the office because our coworker Sean...
I could not believe this. I'm with my daughter celebrating her birthday, and I start getting all these messages. And apparently there was mayhem in the office because I just left a bag of Lindt chocolate on your desk, and all hell broke loose. It was an episode of The Office, right?
Well, because everyone was like, who gave you that chocolate?
What big deal?
Did you do something nice for somebody? And then Sean was like, I'm going to conduct a full-on investigation because Sean was sad that he didn't get chocolate of his own. And so I
shared. Did you share it with him?
I did share.
That's what it's meant for. It was like... I have to go apologize to everybody. This is why I don't do good things.
You don't have to apologize. It was all in good fun.
This is why I'm a bad guy.
I told Sean that whoever gave me the chocolates, they did it because I'm so awesome, and they wanted to compliment me on how awesome I am.
Well,
and
yes, those things are true, and I got in trouble for it.
You didn't get in trouble. I thought that our big boss, Christine did it at first. I literally went into her office and I said,
call me in now and be like, I understand you're showing me up. I'm sorry, everybody.
No apology necessary. The chocolates were delightful.
Share your chocolates.
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
Happy 76th birthday to David Letterman. He had a lovely surprise party where all his friends jumped out of his beard. Today is Desk Fest Day, when people eat breakfast at their desk, then spend the rest of the year trying to get a crumb unstuck from their keyboard. In Boston, a man in a Star Wars costume caused a panic when he appeared on a subway platform with a fake rifle. Or, as Yoda would say, the hell were you thinking, what?
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
We've reached that point where I wrote something for the Shark app and Megan has questions.
So you have a really sweet tradition with your daughter at the Beach Plum.
I do.
I don't even have questions. I just think it's really cute. And I think you should share for listeners.
It's the Sadie Daddy, and it's a special meal combination. It's probably not for a lot of health nuts out there, but you know what? You're going to the Beach Plum. Have some fun.
Why would you eat healthy at the Beach Plum?
I don't know. But you know what? They have salads too, so God bless. But this is something we landed on a couple years ago when she was too young for seafood, and we tried this strange combo, which you can read about on the Shark app. It combines something that's salty and comfort food, and then just sweets that make you go out of your mind. But I'm telling you, for real, there's something about getting this menu hack. I learned that term. I looked it up. Did I tell you about that? That when Sadie showed me that you can look backwards in your binoculars and see people tiny, she said to me, "Dad, check out this cool hack." like she was on YouTube.
That's so
And I went,
funny.
"What?" So it's a menu hack. And what it is the comfort food relaxes you, and then the sugary food makes you see the future, basically.
Past, present, and future at the same time.
And it's all the salt air and the wind at the Beach Plum. This is the one at the beach, Northampton Beach. I swear to God, Megan, if you're sick, it will cure you of your illness. It clears out your sinuses. You go home, you feel so happy. You call people you haven't talked to in months. You can visit with lost loved ones. You might even see the sea serpent of Gloucester, Megan.
Ooh, now I want to go to the Beach Plum. I haven't been in a while.
But you got to get this combo. This is the secret combo. It's the Sadie Daddy at the Beach Plum. Check it out on the Shark app.
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
Donald Trump has sued his former lawyer, Michael Cohen, for $500 million. Or as Trump will tell the IRS, $7. Experts say that airplanes will soon contain bunk beds. Even worse, on Spirit Airlines, they're in the bathroom. The Philadelphia Phillies' dollar hot dog night turned into a wild food fight with fans being ejected. I haven't seen that many wieners flying around since I went to a pool party at Madonna's.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
Megan, what's going on?
New Hampshire, it turns out, is home to one of the best bakeries in the entire United States.
What? Get out.
Yes, it is in, I'm going to butcher the name. Is it Lancaster?
I don't know. Go to the Shark app. Find
That's
out.
the town, but I think I'm butchering the pronunciation. I notice I have a trend of supposedly doing that around here. So
Again, some may say that they think you're a space alien or like in the witness protection program because, you've lived here, quote, all your life. But you're like, is Exeter? Is it pronounced Exeter?
Exeter?
Stratham? Is it right next to it?
But I will say, I want to ask you, what do you think is the best, either the best bakery in New Hampshire, or what place do you think has the best pastries, even if it's not necessarily a bakery exclusively?
Oh gosh. Best pastries. Let me think about this. Well, let me tell you something. I just had a donut. Listen to this. I went to a place called the Pink Hippo. It's at the Fox Run Mall. And I had a donut that has black raspberry jam inside of it.
Ooh.
And chocolate frosting on the top.
Oh, stop. It sounds so good.
And I saw the future. And you know what the future was? Me eating another donut with black raspberry in it and chocolate on top.
That is awesome. I love raspberry, so it's not black raspberry.
Dude,
but.
this place sells out too. It's the Pink Hippo. It's a Fox Run Mall. And I got I got in there just in time, and it's before noon, and yeah, they get rated, man. People go there. So
I love that.
Then I had a coffee that was mudslide shot with a cheesecake chaser, and I drank that, and then I saw the past. You know what it was? Me being stupid for never having that before.
So what you need to do is have the coffee and the donut at the same time, so you see
stay
both
in the
past
present.
and the future at the same time.
That's what you have to do. If you want to stay present, you got to have both.
Yeah, in the state of New Hampshire, you got to find different ways to see the past and the future. If you get my drift.
No, I don't. What does that mean?
I'm talking about weed, John.
Oh.
And now, here's sports in 10 seconds with the Sportsman.
Bobby Dahlbach playing shortstop. What's next? The owners spending money?
That's your sports in 10 seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the Morning.
Megan, what else is going on?
You know how when you're across the street from the Seacoast Science Center, there's a big, I think it's a white barn. It's like a park office.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
If you go back there, and this is on the grounds of the park, so it's not trespassing, there's a cemetery back there. I just want to clarify that so I'm not breaking it.
You just made up that law. And this is,
I'm
I
being
think,
serious.
part of it. So I didn't do anything.
No, someone was working in the barn at the time, and they were like, "Oh yeah, it's public.
Okay.
It's public. You can go. You can go back there." But there is a graveyard back there, and it turns out that it marks the area of the oldest settlement in the state.
That story did not go where I thought it was. It was the Seacoast Science Center.
There's a dead body back
Family
there.
fun for everybody. Okay, so a very nice person took us back, and there was a graveyard. Megan, that's not a fun trip. That's a Scooby-Doo episode. Did they pull off a mask afterwards?
You also realize that Odiorn Point State Park is full of I don't even know, old structures and walls.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something else.
From World War I.
We were just talking about something else off air that we know people engage in. I thought you were going to say, the park. So I was going, Megan, please.
Park. That's literally all it is. But I'm a history fan, and so I appreciated it. And if you happen to be walking around Odiorn Point State Park. You're walking the trails. You're seeing I don't know if they weren't bunkers. They were lookout points, I think. They're covered in graffiti, but they're cool to go into. They're creepy, but they're cool.
I'm just going to let you keep talking until you confess to a crime.
There's a lot going on here, but my point is if you happen to be there, you can go across the street and it's something new to check out. That's what I did, and I'll probably do it again. And I have pictures and details on the Shark app.
And you don't sound guilty at all.
Guilty of what? I
Classic
didn't do
hits for
nothing.
the Seacoast, 102.1, 105.3 The Sharks. You would have gotten away with it if it weren't for you meddling kids.
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
From now on, the streaming service HBO Max will be known simply as Max. As in, I'm only dating you for your password to Max. Max is developing a spin-off to the popular series The Big Bang Theory. It's called A Quick Bang. Then we just read a book till we fall asleep. Arnold Schwarzenegger helped fill a dangerous pothole in his neighborhood. Or as he put it, hasta la vista, bumpy.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
We've reached that point where I wrote something for the Shark app, and Megan has questions.
So someone in Boston...
You did it to me again. You gave me an extra second, an extra beat. That freaks me out so much.
Oh, would you rather I cut you off? Yeah. So there was someone in Boston who made a not so incredible decision on the train, shall we say, and you had thoughts about it. Do you care to share with the class?
Okay, so there was someone, they were wearing a certain kind of costume. You can check it out on the Shark app. And they brought, as part of this costume, a toy weapon that looked somewhat realistic, I would say. And it got a lot of calls, I guess, to the police, and the police responded, and they spoke to the person and found out they were just an adult in a costume with a toy weapon going somewhere in Boston. And, they tweeted out, this is who we found. They made it like a joke out of it, and all the commenters were like, oh, talk about overreaction. And I was like, really? Like, if you see this dude coming at you on the subway, you're going to be like, oh, I'm sure it's fine. I don't think I would be going out with toy weapons right now.
I'd probably be like, realistically speaking, it's probably fine. But also, what if?
It's context. It's like you have to know what's happening in the world before you go do silly things.
Not quite the vibe.
Yeah.
Also, if you're going to some sort of convention or something, I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't want to be carrying that around the whole time.
I don't know. Have you ever been to one of those, a convention?
I need to. Not like a Star Wars one necessarily, but Comic-Con, one of those things. I need to go to one. I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan, so if I ever find out that there's like a reunion happening with the cast, or if you know anybody involved with the movie.
Mm-hmm. You know what your nickname would be at a sci-fi convention? The Girl.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
Linus Ullmark. That sounds less like a goalie and more like the kid in kindergarten who eats paste.
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the Morning.
I asked you if you were going to cheat in the Boston Marathon, how would you try to pull it off? Ed in Rollinsford.
Well, a trick for me probably, since I go about 240 pounds, would be to dangle a meatball sub in front of me, and that's about the only motivation I need.
I don't think it matters what size you are. I think that's good motivation as far as I'm concerned. Jackie in Wells.
Probably hop on a car.
Yeah,
like rollerblades on my feet, and then grab onto the back of something that's moving, and then just like glide my way.
I love that. The Roger Rabbit method. Andrew from Dover, if you were going to run the Boston Marathon and you were going to cheat to win, what would you do to try to trick everybody out?
I have no idea.
Do you want some suggestions?
Yeah.
How about a skateboard? Can you skateboard, Andrew?
No, it's not my skills.
How about one of those laser scooters, huh? Can you try that out?
Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
All right. If that doesn't work out, we'll get you a jetpack. Lorraine in Amesbury, how are you cheating to win the Boston Marathon?
I'd like hide somewhere and then jump out.
Yeah, there you go.
I would never do that, though.
Yeah. You just go to Planet Fitness for half an hour, hide in the bushes at the end, and then, hey, here I am. I win. Phil in Stratham, how are you cheating to win the Boston Marathon?
I would probably wear those wheelie type shoes so I could just kind of like ride down the hill and save my energy.
I love that. I love how you describe it. You're like, they're not roller blades per se. They're just those wheelie kind of shoes. You know that. Yeah.
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
Fort Lauderdale, Florida got over 29 inches of rain. In fact, there's so much water in Florida, they're using rowboats in their high-speed chases. A new study found that exercise could help Americans sleep. Also helping Americans sleep, hearing someone talk about exercise. 3 men were charged with robbing a bank on Martha's Vineyard last year, and they would have gotten away with it if they hadn't tried to rob a bank on a small island.
And that's your news on the 9s. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
If you're looking to have a good laugh this weekend, there's a fun comedy show coming to the Music Hall in downtown Portsmouth. It's called Funny How, and I'm joined by one of the performers right now. Please welcome to Rineman in the Morning, Vic DiPotetto. Vic, how's it going?
Great. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Have you ever been to New Hampshire to perform before, Vic?
Yes, a few years ago. I did the Tupelo Music Hall in Derry, and I did the Hampton Beach Resort Casino, which isn't a resort and isn't a casino.
I know. It's funny, isn't it?
I had a great time.
You're on tour with Eric D'Alessandro. He's another comedian, also performing on the show. What have you learned being on tour with someone who's like 30 years younger than you?
Okay, well, since I've been touring with him, I've been wearing skinny jeans.
And how's that working out for you?
Horrible. I can't stand it. I do a whole bit about it. How about, he goes on stage and he's got a man bun. I go on stage, I got a man bagel because I'm losing my hair and my crown. It's a great, we feed off each other.
What has he learned from you?
How to lose patience and get ticked off about everything.
It's a really fun show. 2 very funny comics. Get your tickets at themusichall.org.
Now on Rineman in the Morning, it's What's Up on the Shark app with Megan, the Shark's own app and website guru.
Megan, what's going on this fine Friday?
So I thought that we'd flip things around because you told me that you were interested in asking me about something that I had written.
Yeah, what's this called again? Becky's Garden? What's this all about?
Yeah, so it's the smallest island on Lake Winnipesaukee in New Hampshire. I'm not sure what the precise...
So it's New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Okay. I was wondering if it's New Hampshire or Maine. It's this visual. You got to check it out on the Shark app. It's this very small island, and how small the house takes up the whole island, right? It's like a house in the middle of the water.
I don't know the precise measurements of the island, but I have a picture that I share that shows a couple people standing on it, and it's pretty small. But there's this adorable little house. It's almost like a dollhouse that's white, that's on this island, and there's a story behind it and why it has the name that it has, and it's really cute.
Oh, so is it a tiny house or like a house for people? Like
no. It's people. It's like a dollhouse. People can't fit in it.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. That makes it even crazier to me.
Yeah.
The legend of Becky's Garden.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Now, is there any kind of, now I know this is you, is there any kind of like supernatural stuff going on?
No.
So it's just a fun, feel-good story.
Yeah, it is. It's just like, it's a cute little thing. And I don't know if you can swim out to it. You can probably boat out to it.
That's awesome. Winnipesaukee.
Yeah.
And you can read all the exact details on the Shark app. Did you ever have a dollhouse? Were you a dollhouse kid?
I'm sure I did, but I was more of like stuffed animals kid growing up. I had a lot of Littlest Pet Shop. I had a lot of that growing up.
Yeah. I had a doll duplex. My dolls wanted to save their money for retirement.
I feel that. I'm working on doing that myself.
It's good thinking.
And now, here's sports in 10 seconds with the Sportsman.
Celtics in the playoffs. Bruins in the playoffs. Red Sox should be laid off.
That's your sports in 10 seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the Morning.
Megan, what else is up?
How'd you like to check out a candy yard sale tomorrow?
Candy yard sale? What, did Willy Wonka go broke? Did something happen to him? Is he going to jail?
No, not quite. So, have you ever been to Licky's and Chewy's, the candy store in Dover?
Licky and Chewy. Now, are those the 2 guys that Willy Wonka is going to be in jail with? Is that what's happening?
There could have been a couple of Oompa Loompas that wound up on the wrong side of the tracks.
True.
But no, in this case, they're actually a knight and a dragon. They are the little mascots of Licky's and Chewy's in Dover, New Hampshire. They have candy, fudge, milkshakes, all that jazz. But they are having their annual yard sale tomorrow starting at 10 a.m. And what they're doing is they're giving away little bags of candy at a discounted price. And a lot of these are like things that were more holiday themed or things that might be older or even slightly expired. But obviously they wouldn't be getting rid of them if they were in any way bad to eat. I don't care personally. But you can go and you can buy a bag of goodies and see what Licky's and Chewy's is all about.
All right.
And it gets even better. If some of these baggies, there are extra little surprises that you can use. I think they're called purple medallions or something like that.
Oh, okay.
But you can use them to get things like gift cards.
Okay.
Their famous king shakes. So there's some added perks here.
I wondered where we were going there for a second. And there's extra baggies where you get an extra prize.
Get your mind out of the gutter, Rineman.
I'm going to do
It's
another
Friday.
Raymond reference. Do you ever watch Everybody Loves Raymond?
No.
You ever check that out? It's
No.
good show to go back and watch. Yeah, they did an episode where Ray and Deborah got their candy for the children mixed up with some things that they were planning on putting to use later that evening.
Wonderful.
And yeah, I gave them out to the neighborhood. So good episode.
Giving some brownies to the kids, are we?
No, not brownies. But something else. You can check it out over on TV Land or wherever that airs. And you can check out this wonderful yard sale on the Shark app.
It's time for your news on the nines with News Guy.
The Pentagon says it has found the man sharing confidential documents, nicknamed Jack the Dripper. Jack the Dripper? That sounds like a dirty term for milk the cow. Researchers think that artificial intelligence could cause a nuclear catastrophe. Said humans, hey, that's our job. Russell Crowe is facing criticism for the bad Italian accent he does in his new exorcism film, especially the part when he says, Mamma mia, it's a me, Father Mario.
And that's your news on the nines. Now back to Rineman in the Morning.
We're at that point where I wrote something for the Shark app, and Megan has questions.
Okay, so this whole Ames department store saga is blowing my mind because now you're telling me that there's someone ruling Twitter and trolling people by starting arguments with themselves via multiple accounts?
So I got invested in all this. I followed, quote, Ames on Twitter. That's a weird sentence to say, right? You know, it's like, I texted Bradley's to see what they had in stock. No, Ames said they were coming back a few months ago, and it seemed weird. I smelled something fishy, and it did start to descend into the point of, okay, this might be a prank. And I think everyone thought it was going to be like a lame April Fool's prank, but April Fool's came and went, and they're still pranking away on Twitter. And whoever this is has created like other personalities to tweet, and they tweet at each other. And there's now, it's like Ames Real Talk or something like that. You got to check it out on the Shark app. I send it. There's like a bad guy Ames, like an evil Ames Twitter. And
Do you think they're run by the same person?
I don't know, and I don't care anymore. And at first I was annoyed by this person, but now I'm very thoroughly entertained. And I love seeing people respond to it. And some guy sent them like a big paragraph about like, don't you know what you're doing is so lame? We all know this is such a, ripoff or whatever. And then the evil Ames account tweets back, can you imagine naming someone Rick? The guy's name is Rick, and that was their comeback.
Shut up, Rick.
And the guy was like, oh, it's so amazing. That is the age we live in. Ames is now an insult comic on Twitter. So go check it out on the Shark app.
Stranger things have happened after all.
Have some fun. It's classic hits for the Seacoast. 102.1, 105.3, the Shark. Megan, how do we say have some fun?
Have some fun.
No. How do we really say it?
I charge an admission fee. Come back to me later.
And now, here's Sports in 10 Seconds with the Sportsman.
Is it weird if my nipples chafe just from watching a marathon?
That's your Sports in 10 Seconds with Sportsman on Rineman in the Morning.
The weekend is here. Let's take a trip to the movies.
I'm Charlie Butters, and it's time for your Friday Flix. In theaters this weekend is the film Sweetwater, about a basketball player who quits the Harlem Globetrotters to join an even goofier team, the New York Knicks. If you like popes but aren't wild about Satan, then you'll love The Pope's Exorcist. It's got people's eyes turning yellow while they levitate in midair, just like my nephew when he eats 2 bags of Sour Patch Kids. Out on Netflix is the film Last Kingdom, 7 Kings Must Die, to which Prince Harry said, I'd settle for just one. I'm Charlie Butters, and remember to keep an eye on the screen and a hand in the popcorn.